Because reading is what?
Fundamental.
Hey guys, welcome to our brand new episode of Do You Read BTS? I'm Lisa.
And I'm Delize. Hey y'all!
Hey.
We're so excited. So this is our first YouTube episode. We're doing the story. It's called The Companion. It's by Bangtan86 on Wattpad, and we're so excited about it. It's a quick little short story. For all of you guys that don't know, pretty much the YouTube channel that's different from the podcast is that these will be one shots or like really short stories that we can review quickly so that you guys can see our faces.
Yay.
Girl.
Okay, guys, as you guys know, oh my goodness, this story was so good. It's about this girl, and if you don't listen to the podcast, now you know that if the girl name is YN, her name is the girl.
The girl.
So it's a girl, and she is randomly like scrolling on her like email, and she gets an email from Big Hit, and the email pretty much states to her that they have a job for her and they want her to come interview. And she's so curious, she don't know why she got this interview, why she got this email. Like, she didn't put in no application or anything, but she going to this interview as I would be. What?
Same. I don't care.
What on the way? What now? On the way now?
On the way now. They're like, we need to see you at noon. I'll be there at 5 a.m. Like, hey, I just wanted to make sure we're good.
Like a true army, we're gonna be out there early, baby.
Early. Staying overnight.
Right. So anyway, so she goes to the interview. I don't remember who she went to the interview with.
She went by herself to the interview.
But like, who was interviewing her?
Eunhee.
Whatever her name was.
Yeah, there's like a bunch. She's the person who initially met her, and then there was like a bunch of people that she had to see. And the interview process was to be like 4 hours. She had to get like medical, psychiatric, like all this stuff done to see if she would even pass through what this was. Next to Eunhee, who says that the position is for a companion, and she's like, a companion? What do you mean? And she's like, well, you're going to be assigned to an artist, and whatever the artist wants is what you'll do, whether it's like setting out their schedule, if it's they just want to hang out, it even could be sexual. And so she's like, wait a minute.
Hey.
Like, what is going on? Oh, my hair's all jacked up. Okay, anyway. So she's just like, okay. Then she tells her that the salary is going to be crazy, and that you have this apartment, she has somewhere to stay, but she has to get through the whole process in order to determine if she's actually eligible fit. So she gets through the whole process, and she ends up being like hired. She has to sign like an NDA. She's got to sign like all the stuff because they want to make sure.
What else?
Right.
What
sign
else?
Life away, please. Do you need
it? A minute.
So yeah, she goes through that whole process, and she's like, all right. At the time, she's living with this girl named Kara. So she goes back to the house and is like, hey girl, I got the job. Oh, by the way, I'm moving out like tomorrow. So I'll still continue to pay because, you know, that's not for you, but like, I gotta go.
Right. And when she said that, the friend is like, what? Why? What's going on? Why you moving out? She was like, girl, don't worry. I'm still paying that rent. And she was like, bet.
Bet. No problems. Enjoy. Oh, bye, girl.
Wow. So, bye, girl.
Right.
So then, you know, so she gets all that squared away. She starts to pack and everything. And I think it's the next day that the movies are starting to come in and like packing all her stuff and getting it ready and all that stuff. Then she gets in her car and drives there. Yeah. She gets in the car, she drives there, And then she's like, they're already look, they already unpacking her stuff. When she got
Mm-hmm.
there, they was already there unpacking her junk.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, well, okay, you know. And then the I want to say she is she like a manager or
Something like that. One of the
Inhi?
managers.
What's her
Yeah.
name? Inhi?
Yeah, in here or in here, something like that. I know she's like something with HR, like hiring or something.
Okay, so Miss Manager, that's what I'm gonna call her because I can't get that name right. So Miss Manager come in, you know, let her know what's up. And she was like, you know, basically told her eyes and ears, said, okay, here you go. This is your schedule. You are to follow this schedule to the T. And whatever he want, you make sure you were able to give it to him. So then she hears a knock on the door, and who walks in? No other than Park Jet Man, girl, looking like a whole snack. I know he looked
Mm-hmm.
good too. I was picturing it in my head. What color
Girl,
hair? What color hair he had to you in your hair?
he had blonde hair to me
Blonde hair. You know, it's something about that blonde hair.
with the little like the little bang with the bump.
Girl, we love blonde hair Yugi, blonde hair Fire Air Jen, and blonde hair Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I like blind Namjoon too.
Blonde Nam June is good. Blonde Nam June is good.
That's right. So anyway, so he comes in, he walks in, he's talking to her, introducing himself to her, talking to her or whatever, and then basically she was like, "Oh, I'm not supposed to like stop." Oh, he asked her to have dinner with him that night,
Mm-hmm.
and um when he asked her to have dinner that night, she's like, "Oh well, my schedule don't start till tomorrow." He was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Well, we'll start tomorrow, but I just want to have dinner with you tonight." So then she's like, "Okay." So then I guess do it skip till they like have dinner or
Yeah, go ahead. Do they? Oh, okay. So they skip ahead. They go out as time is going on. They're kind of like noticing that he's wanting to hang out with her all the time, but they're not just. It's not just them doing things that he has to do. Like they're hanging out, eating together, getting tea,
oh,
coffee.
I know what it is. You skipped the whole part. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. But I remember they have dinner that night and he bring the drinks, honey. The
Yeah, and they
first
get wasted.
they get wasted that
Yep.
night and then
Oh
they end up having
yeah.
sex that
Oh
first night.
yeah. And he act like he don't remember the next day.
Right. The
And
next
she's
day
like,
right, because they woke up late. They
yep,
woke up late and she was
yep,
like, shoot, I gotta get you. I
yep,
already there. Like this is my first day. I don't need to be looking bad for the company. Let's get you
exactly.
there. Jim was like, girl, bye. Like, he don't care. He's like, it's okay. She was like, no, this is my
Right, yep,
first day. I need to
exactly.
have you on time.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to Big Hit for dance practice. And when they get there, she sits in the back with the rest of the companions. Now, what you guys need to know is that there's two other companions. JK has a companion and Tay has a companion.
Mm-hmm.
So she sits with them in the corner, and honey, the looks that they gave her.
They were not having it.
Mm-mm. They didn't even know her. Didn't even get a chance to talk her. Now Hannah, or isn't her name Hannah? The one that's with Tay. She wasn't that bad, but she still was giving her the same eye.
Yeah, she
But that
was.
other girl that was with JK, what's her name?
Yunha?
She was dirty.
Yeah, homegirl was tripping because so when they got drunk or whatever, they were at the. Oh wait, is that a different time? They weren't at the
No,
house. No, they wasn't at. She did. They wasn't at the house yet, right? No, never
no,
mind.
they got drunk in her apartment.
I'm just thinking about the time when they. Okay, never mind. So yeah, they're still at you know what I'm talking about, right? Like later on. Okay, so they
Yeah.
got drunk at the house or whatever, and I mean, so they're looking at the girl crazy, like why is he treating her so special? Because
Uh-huh.
Tay and JK low key like kind of dog the girls out, like they don't really like hug on them, they don't really love on them, they just kind of like I need you to do this, I need you to do that, blah 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 blah.
Right, and that's why Jen do not even have a companion because they dog them girls out. Like, but a part of their job is they're an assistant and a companion,
Mm-hmm.
but they really just be like, "I don't need you today. Go on by your business. Oh, I need some head. Come on to work.
Exactly.
Come to work."
Exactly. Girl.
So Yeah, so they pretty much giving her the stank eye. So they go through the rehearsal, and she's like, they had the best night, honey. When they got drunk and they got it in, they had the best night.
Mm-hmm.
So she thinking about that and reminiscing. And Jimmy, on the other hand, like, what happened last night? He did not remember what happened. So go ahead, D.
So she's like freaking out. She's like, I know he don't. I know he's not acting like he don't remember after all that. Like and he wasn't really like he for real didn't remember. But as the day kind of went on, stuff was like clicking to him because something they was just starting to come back to him. So he was trying to be awkward at the end or whatever, and she was finally like, so you don't really remember? And he's like, oh no, I remember. And she was like, oh okay, because you was acting a little weird or whatever. So I'm trying to see if I'm about to skip ahead too far. Okay,
No, you're
so
right.
after that, they leave, right?
Mhm.
So one of the things that we forgot to mention is with her being his companion, he wanted her to cook for him, but she didn't know how to cook. So they hired a personal chef to come teach her how to cook like once a week. So one of the days, her and Jimin have some time or whatever. Am I skipping too far?
Nope, you're just right.
Okay, and she gets those cooking lessons. So then she sees the boys, and they're like, "Oh, Jimin said you're gonna come to the house, and you're gonna cook for us." And she's like, "Jimin said what now?" Like,
Mm-hmm.
so she ends up going over there. She ends up cooking. Jin helps her. They drink, have a good time, or whatever. Everything's cool. So the next day, they're at another event with all of them again, with the other two companions, and all the BTS, and all the BTS is like, "Oh, girl, hey, da 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 da," all in her face, and the other two girls over there like, "I don't understand why she getting this special treatment. She only been here like 2 days. Like, who does she think she is?"
Right, because these two girls, these other two companions, has never really talked to the rest of the guys at all.
And they've never been to the dorm. And the girl went
Right,
to the dorm that second day. And she's like, why?
right.
So JK's girl, she's the one that was real upset about it. Well,
Mm-hmm. Salty.
I don't understand why she da 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 all this other stuff. She not that special. I've been here for 6 months and I ain't never hung out with them, or I never been to the dorm. Blah blah. Blah. She's so special. And Hannah's like, I mean, maybe it's just, we didn't really know her like that. Maybe it's not what you think. It's trying to be like the peacemaker, but also like, yeah, why does she get to do blah 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 blah?
Mm-hmm.
So
But you know what? But the girl was really nice to them though.
she
Like
was,
they were so salty to her, and she still was really nice
girl,
to
super nice to them.
them. Mm-hmm.
I would have been cussing them out every chance I got. Bitch said what?
Yes, for real. So then, so basically, what happens after that? Then she cooks for them, and then,
they just get closer for a little bit.
yeah, they just get closer and have this good time, have a lot of good old sex, which the smut is really good.
But
It is
JK,
good.
JK start like liking the girl. Like,
JK started liking her, so now JK first was calling her Nuna.
mm-hmm.
Nuna. JK was calling her Nuna at first, but then, I guess as the time went by, oh, let me just go right here. So as the time went by, Jen was like in Jimmy's ear, and he was like, the girl is a different breed. She not like these other two companions. She's really nice and sweet, and she look like she kind of is liking you more than you think she is. Well, Jimmy like her anyway. He treating her like gold. Like he like
Mm-hmm.
her, but he listening to what Jen say because Jen is in his ear. So when he listened to what Jen is saying, he starts to back off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So when he started backing off a little bit, she started backing off a little bit. And she was like, you know what? And the whole time she's saying, okay, this is my job. This is my job. I can't get close. This is my job. But she really is getting close.
Right.
But this time after this happened and Jimmy started like kind of going his own way, she's just really being an assistant to him.
Because she's in her feelings about the whole thing.
Right. So she's like, okay, well, fine. I'm really just going to be an assistant. I'm not going to be in this way. So then she started getting close with Jen and JK. And like you said, JK started to like her more and more and more. So then then Jim man start getting jealous that she was hanging out with them and getting real close with them and all this stuff. So then he was like, JK was like, oh, well, let's have you want can we go have coffee? And she was like, well, let me check Jimmy's schedule to see if it's clear. Well, then she messaged him back and she was like, oh, it's clear. Okay, we can have coffee. But uh, when he told before she got that text back, he had already asked Jimmy, and Jimmy was like, "No, she got to do something." He was like, "Oh, well, she just texted and said your schedule clean," and he was like, "No, I just remember we got something to do."
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, D.
So Jungkook was like, okay, in the meantime, while he's trying to go to coffee, he's texting his companion like, I'm not coming over tonight. So homegirl's like, what the hell? Like, what do you mean you're not coming over? So she feels some type of way about that. So then she sees them together and is like, oh, no way. Blah, 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 blah. I got to do something to get them to not hang out like that. Like, I got to do something to get rid of her because she's not going to steal my man. So she's talking to Hannah about what's going on. Hannah's kind of like, I don't know, girl. It may not be all that. And the other girl's like, yeah, no, it is. Definitely, we need to get her out. So JK, during all this, there's a point where him and his companion are hanging out and she's giving head and she tells him or he ends up calling out the girl's name, Jimin's companion's name, as he's coming. And she's like, what did you just say? He's like, I what are you talking about? Like, I don't
Look, but he didn't even care though, D.
He did it. He treated that girl so wrong.
He was like, "Why you mad? Why you mad? It's not like you my girlfriend." And she like, "But I've been here doing everything for you." And so then she basically kicked him out. But the girl was actually going to a restaurant with Jimmy at that time.
Right.
At the same time. So the girl went to the restaurant with Jimmy. Remind you now, they are not talking like that. They just like working together and that's it. So Jen said at that time when he told her he had something to do, excuse me, sorry. It was actually at a restaurant and she went to the restaurant and like, what's the word? What do you want me to do? And he was like, oh, why don't you just sit down or whatever? And she was like, Jimmy, I don't have time. What is it that you want me to do? Bossa, bossa, bossa. And he's like, I just want to talk to you. So he sit down. He started telling her everything about how he did like her and that he didn't mean for it to go down like that. He was just stupid and listening to Jen. He really did like her. And she like all invested in all in her feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I don't want to hear it. Basically, like, I just need to go. Are you done with me? Is my job done for today? Can I leave? And he was like, but please listen to me. I really like you, blah, blah, blah. Like he really wanted to tell her and apologize for everything that he had done.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just like, well, can I go? Like, I don't need to hear this. Can I go? Because I did like you, but now it's just crazy and I just need to go. So she jumped up, left because he didn't make her stay against her will. He just let her leave. So she left and she was like getting a taxi, but didn't notice she had left her pocketbook, a purse. I don't know what y'all say. Sorry, I'm country. She left her purse and she was like, darn, I left my purse, but I'm not going back to get it. So she called JK and was like, can you meet me at the building, at the apartment building? I left my purse, so can you pay taxi fare? And he was like, well, no, I'll just come and get you. So he went over there and scooped her up. Go ahead, D. I'm gonna let you go. I'm talking too much.
No, I'm just thinking about this part that comes up next. Go ahead, girl. Because this is
So
that's acted up.
So he go scoop her up, and he kind of looking at her, like liking her a lot. She not really talking because she heartbroken. So he drops her off at her apartment. She goes upstairs, and Jimmy is sitting at her door with his head down. It was so sweet. Yes, looking all sad. And he was like, "You left your purse." And she was like, oh, thank you. And then they talked a little bit. The next thing you know, girl, they made up that quick.
They made up real quick. In the meantime, though, JK decides to tell the manager, hey, girl, let's go ahead and terminate that contract with old girl because I don't need her anymore. Like I have no use
Right, because
for her.
he's
I'm
seen her.
good.
He seen them like kind of get into, like he didn't see them get into it, but he knew they got into it. And he
Right.
seen Jimmy running after her, and she said, "Go, go, go!" Like she was ready to go.
Yep.
So go ahead.
So
Sorry.
he decided to tell the manager, "I don't want to have a companion no more. Go ahead and get her fired." And so they're like talking about it, and they're like, "Hey, maybe we should give her severance package instead. Like, let's make sure she's okay. She hasn't done anything wrong. Like, let's not just put her out." So he's like, "All right, bet, I'm done. Cool." So the next day, oh girl is gets the information that she's being let go and given a severance and all that, and she flips out. So now she's really like, we got to get this girl out. She
Mm-hmm.
tried to steal my man, and she gonna take yours too. And so she comes up with this plan and to go to a restaurant. So
Oh wait,
while
wait. She didn't get fired right yet. She didn't get fired right yet. What happened is the next day, the girl was gonna have coffee with JK that day to pay him back for coming to pick her up.
they had let her go, and they were having to go on a away thing for
They
her,
hadn't let
they
her
went to
go. JK
dinner.
did talk to the manager to let her go, and he said he won't need no other companion. But they hadn't fired her right yet. Did
Oh,
they? Did they?
maybe because the when they went to dinner, it was the girls going to eat together since she was going to be leaving.
Okay, maybe wrong. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I might be wrong. Don't
No, no,
listen.
you're okay. I mean, I could be too. I don't know, but I thought that's why they went to dinner. But so they go to this dinner. So she and then she went. Okay, two things. Before all this, she went to coffee. She went out to coffee with JK. And while they were there, the girls went to the same place and started snapping pictures of them. And so she had all these pictures of them at the spot, and they ended up getting a crowd, so they ended up having to leave the coffee shop. So later that night, when they all went to go to dinner, Hannah was like, "Hey, girl, let's go to the bathroom real quick so that we can like do whatever." And the girl's like, "All right, cool." And while that was happening, JK's girl goes, digs in the girl's purse, gets her phone, and sends the pictures with details about the companion contract, all the stuff from the girl's account, from her email account, and puts her phone back. So they continue their night. It is what it is, and they ended up leaving. So was it the next day or was it that night?
She sent that stuff to
The news
to the
people.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
that night.
So they got an email from Big Hit got an email from this news place saying, "Hey, we're about to run this story about this, this, and this. We were given this by this person, blah blah blah." So they're like, "Oh wait, why? What's going on?" So then
Mm-hmm.
they called a girl back down and was like, "Hey girl, we need to talk because something has happened and it's looking like you did it. We need to figure something out." So the girl
Coming
was
straight from
like,
your IP address.
"Yep." So the girl's like, "What are you talking about? Like, I didn't send anything. I have no idea what you're talking about." She's like, "Well, we're gonna do an investigation, but in the meantime, like, you're gonna be suspended or whatever until we can get to the root of this." So the girl ends up moving back to her house, and she's like upset because she can't see Jim and all that stuff. But then they end up coming because at this point, Jim and her have like said, "Yes, we like each other. Let's like do this type of thing, all that." So,
Mm-hmm.
so go ahead.
So they pretty much knew that she didn't do it. It was not in her character to do it. All the BTS knew that she didn't do it. She was friends with them by then. They knew that she didn't do it. So they say, okay, don't worry, we're gonna clear your name. So she at the apartment crying to the friend. The friend don't know what's going on because she still got this NDA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Agreement. So she's not told her pretty much anything. And so she basically is like crying her eyes out. And then on the other hand, the boys are figuring out this ain't right, something's going on. And they pretty much figure out that JK girl has something to do with it. So Jen and JK and Jimmy figure out, like, oh, we got to figure this out. So they go to the girl apartment. And that's when the friend is so shocked. She like, oh, this what you been doing? So they figure out, to tell her this is what happened. We think that she set this whole thing up or whatever. And JK, and at this time, JK has made up with J because okay, we skipped this part, but JK and Jimmy end up getting into it because JK end up kissing the girl while they
Mm-hmm.
having coffee. And she telling him, I don't have feelings for you like that. I'm with Jimmy. All this stuff. She ended up telling Jimmy. Jimmy get mad at him. But by this time, they've made up.
Mm-hmm.
So they've made up. And he's looking at her like the Nuna again. And he basically says that, oh, we're gonna figure this out. Let me call her and figure this out. So he calls her and she excited. Oh, JK calling me, which I would be too, girl. I'd be happy if JK calling back me too. Anyway, so JK called her back, saying he wanna have coffee with her and talk to her about how he broke up with her because how he well, I don't know, it's not really breaking up, but basically it
Right.
is with her. But he
Right.
said how he ended things was wrong and he wanted to fix how he ended things. So he goes to the coffee shop with this girl, and he talks to her and just basically tell him he was wrong, how he did her or whatever. But he don't lie to her.
You know,
He do tell her that I don't have feelings for you like that, but I'm sorry for how I treated you
because
or
she
whatever.
thought when he wanted to see her for coffee that he wanted her back. Because she was like,
Right.
all right, so when do I go back? And he's like, oh no, I don't want you back, but like I just
Yeah.
want to apologize. Hold on,
Yeah.
girl, don't want you, but
Right.
so
So yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, go.
So he ended up sitting down with her, talking to her. Then like he ended up getting the information out of her, like because he's sweet talking her. Like
And he
you go to
recorded
the kid,
it.
right? He had his little phone down, recording. Ain't this some Itaewon class right here?
Girl, that's the scene I thought about when homegirl was like, boop boop, thanks, honey, got all the information I need. Deuces.
Right, thank you. And that's exactly what JK did. JK was like, oh, got her recording, confessing that that's what she did and why she did it because she felt like she was in the way and she was no
Mm-hmm.
good to him. And so he was like, well, I need to go to the bathroom. So he ended up sending the recording to Jimmy the whole time. He
Mm-hmm.
goes to the bathroom. And here come the girl. Oh, she was bossed up by then. She
Okay.
was bossed up by then. She was mad. Because I would be mad too. She didn't win and she didn't been so nice to this girl the whole
Right.
time. Even though she treated her wrong and bad, she still was nice to her. And she did her that way.
Girl, it could have
So,
been me. It could have been Vaseline, hair tie. Like,
girl,
okay, girl.
I would have
So
been
we
ready
got
to, what? We would have
we
been
got to
ready to
fight.
square up. Yes, by then I'm mad. Because you done made me almost lose my man and my job and my free luxury apartment.
Right.
We about to fight.
Messing with my livelihood, girl.
Right, and my bag.
And my bag. What you mean? I have to fight you.
Right, it's mandatory.
That's what
So
it is.
anyway, so the girls come on the scene. She really nicer than she have to be to this girl,
Oh
and
yeah.
basically tell her you need to confess, and you need to go to Big Hit and confess because we got it all on tape. And she was like, and she took, did she have JK? Because the girl had JK phone.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, look, here it go. We hear you confessing. And so she take the phone and try to break it. And she was like, girl, it don't even matter because Jimmy got a copy anyway. So your
Right.
best bet is just to go to Big Head and confess and maybe the charges won't be that bad on you. And so
Yep.
she ended up taking the girl to Big Head. She confessed. The girl get her job back, but it was a different like job.
Yeah, because
Was
she
it like
declined the con. Yeah, she declined the
oh
normal
yeah.
companionship contract because her and Jimin had feelings for each other. I think at this point they said they love one another, and so she was like, "I don't want to do that contract. I just want to be with Jimin and just be with him. Like I don't want to have to be under this." And so they were like, "Yeah, but like you won't get your pay, you won't get to travel with him, you won't get to do any of that." She's like, "That's fine. I just want to be with him," but she doesn't tell him that. So he I think calls her or sees her and he's like, "Oh, did you get your job back?" And she's like, "I declined it." And he's like, "What are you talking about? Like you didn't even talk to me about this." And she's like, "Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I know, but I just wanted to be with you. I didn't want to have to go through all that other stuff." So he's like,
Right.
"All right, I get that. Like that's cool." So I think they're on tour, and her and Kara are at the house, and Kara's kind of doing her thing, and she knows that Kara and JK have been talking to one another like a lot. So I guess they've been planning to surprise her because she hasn't seen Jim in a while, and she's like, kind of lonely and sad. So they ended up coming in early and surprising her, and she like freaks out. So JK and the girl end up, I can't remember if they ended up leaving or
They went out to their
the balcony. Yep.
and they was out there. And when Jim and the girl went to see what they were doing, they was out there kissing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. But that's pretty much the end of the story.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So
really
what do you think? Did you like it?
I like this story. I like
was
the concept. Like, it was a different concept that I wasn't fully expecting it to go that way. It's something that I hadn't actually heard before. Because sometimes when you hear stories about them having a girl, it's in a much different way. I'll just say that. So I liked how it was set up. I liked the fact that not all of the members had a companion, and that they're like how Jen was like, I just don't understand it. Because at a point in the story, we forgot to mention, Jen and her had a conversation because they had gotten cool, and he was like, "Why would you want to do this?" And so they're kind of talking about that. But anyway, I like the fact that he didn't have one. So I really liked the story. I thought it was good, and the smut, just
girl,
good,
boy,
just good. That's it. It was great. How did you feel about it?
I love this story, and I read this story before you did.
Yeah.
Big ups to the author because she kept me up to date. She was like, "Oh, I'm updating. Oh, I'm updating." I stayed on it. It was so good.
Yeah.
I loved it. However, I did tell her, "Girl, we need a JK and Kara spinoff."
Yes, I need to know what happened with them.
Right. So she told me, she was like, "Oh, so many people has been telling me that. So fingers crossed that she makes a spinoff."
I hope so, because it was such a good story, and I want to know what happened with them.
Right.
So,
You guys check this author out. You can find her on Wattpad and AO3.
yes,
So
definitely.
she's so good, and she's really good with short stories. We may be reviewing more stories of hers.
Definitely, definitely. All right, guys. Well, this was our first episode. I hope we definitely hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have
Oh,
any
hit that
feedback,
like and comment and
oh, and
subscribe, baby.
subscribe. Hey now. Yes, what she said. What she said. No, this way.
Right. And if you just want to listen, check out the podcast.
Yep, and you can find all of all the platforms that you can find us on in this stuff down
In the
below.
description.
All this, you can find it. We'll have it posted. You can always follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram. You can still email us with recommendations. Now that we're doing the YouTube channel with the short stories, if you guys have short stories, just please include that they're short stories, just so that we can know what to use for what show. So you guys can email us at doyoureadbts@yahoo.com. And that is everything. Thanks again, guys. We're so excited. We hope you enjoy.
Bye.